The dish that we're going to learn right now is called gobi aloo, or a simple dish made with cauliflower, potatoes, tomatoes, jalapenos, and ginger. We are using 1 head of cauliflower and we are going to chop it into florets like I'm showing you right now. Just make sure you cut down the bottom of the cauliflower where the stump is and then make even sized florets. We are also going to need 2 potatoes, 2 plum tomatoes, and 1 jalapeno, and a little bit of tomato paste. This is how we will julienne some ginger. Now you can do less ginger, more ginger, no ginger, it'll still taste pretty darn good. So we need some delicate ginger juliennes, like so. There you go. And now coming to the potatoes, I've taken 1 medium and the other one ended up being a little bit bigger. So cut them across and then cut them into 3 more sections. Now for the tomatoes, I am using plum tomatoes, but you can use any tomato that you have on hand. My quick tip for cutting tomatoes is to always cut them facing up. It just becomes easier to handle and they're not running away anywhere. And the pieces here are quite chunky. They don't have to be finely chopped, but just make sure they're nice and juicy tomatoes. That's really important. Coming to the jalapeno, which is the heat element of our dish. I'm not a fan of hot food. Yeah, surprising but true. But if you like heat, you can put more jalapenos, less jalapenos, no jalapenos. Also, if you de-seed them, then they're not as strong in their heat as they were to be if you left the seeds in. And if you're sensitive to jalapeno heat, then definitely wear gloves when you're handling them. You can cut it into slices, you can cut it into juliennes, however you want it. So less or more heat is something that you can control in Indian food. And the popular myth is that all Indian food is hot. Well, no. Heat is something that is very similar to pepper. And just like you can control how much pepper you put in your food or how much salt you put in your food, you can totally control the heat. Let's get the process started. I have a pan and I am going to put some oil in there, about 2 to 4 tablespoons. I will start out with adding a teaspoon of cumin seeds. I'm gonna let it splutter for a little bit. Make sure your oil is nice and hot. To this, I will add the ginger juliennes. Do save some for garnish towards the end of the dish, but most of them go in right now. Saute it for a couple of seconds. Now add all the cauliflower and the potato all at the same time into the hot pan and give it a good stir so that the oil is well coated on all the vegetables that just went in. You can use any salt of choice, some turmeric powder for the characteristic yellow color, some red paprika, lots of coriander seed powder to give it a nice flavor. I also like to add some garam masala because I like to cook my garam masala instead of adding it in the end. Now I've added some dry fenugreek herbs which give it that characteristic earthy flavor in this dish. Now if you don't have it, you can skip this step. It'll still taste pretty good. And then I added some Indian curry powder. I'm going to give it a good stir so that all the spices are well coated onto the surface of the vegetables. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover this to simmer. Keep your heat to a medium-low, and give it a couple of minutes. If you feel that it's sticking to the bottom of the pan, you can always add a little water to deglaze the pan and get things moving. But do stir from time to time to make sure that everything is cooking evenly. That's super important. Now I'm going to go in and add my tomatoes. So the tomatoes will actually release the moisture into the food and help the vegetables to cook in the steam generated from that moisture. I'm also going to go in and add my jalapenos at this time. And then again, back to covering it and cooking it for about 7 to 8 minutes. Let me give you a quick look at what it looks like. Cover it now after adding a little water and turn up the heat to high so that there'll be a lot of steam generated that can really help to cook and tenderize the potatoes and the cauliflower. I will go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste to give it that nice tangy flavor. And then again, a little more water to help it along. Some people just like to do an overdose of oil to generate the steam to cook the vegetables, but I like to do more water-based and not so much oil-based. So yeah, it's a process. We're going to keep at it. We will keep looking at it. And after about between, I would say 14 to 16 minutes, your vegetable should be nice and done. You can see at any point if you want to deglaze it or if you